Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the book Fragments by Dan Wells, the second book in the Partials sequence. I have read and reviewed the first book in the Partials sequence, Partials. You can find my book review on my YouTube channel. Just look up Partials Jonathan Cohn, and the review will magically appear on your screen. And I really enjoyed Partials. I thought it was a superb, fantastic first book in a series for a YA kind of dystopian science fiction series. It was really well done. So I was really excited to get into the second book, and I'm a huge Dan Wells fan. I first got to know him listening to his Intentionally Blank podcast with Brandon Sanderson, and also by reading some of his other books, including the I Am Not a Serial Killer trilogy with Mr. Monster and I Don't Want to Kill You, as well as his horrifying thriller novel, Extreme Makeover, and the really fun kind of spy thriller book, Ghost Station. So I really enjoy his work quite a lot. He writes in a style I enjoy. I don't always love his endings, but I guess that is par for the course if you're a horror author, apparently. But I really enjoy his books. So to get into Fragments, I was super excited. The first book has some fantastic reveals, some fantastic cliffhangers, some superb character moments that I really enjoyed. And book 2 picks up on all of those and really explores all of those really well. I will say that book 2 is about 100 pages longer, and you feel it. And I think that is my biggest criticism of the book, is particularly in the middle section. The middle section could have been cut down about 100 pages, and the flow would have been better, and you wouldn't have had to cut out quite as much story. It would be more of the meandering focus. The first part of the book, it takes place in New York, and the second part of the book is like a travelogue, and then the third part of the book, well, it's really in the fourth part, but the end of the book is, they've gotten to the place in the travelogue. And the travelogue itself is just a little bit too long. You can keep the story of a travelogue going if it's really entertaining and really adding to the story. The journey itself doesn't add quite as much as you would think it does. The destination, don't cut any of the destination, and don't cut any of the pre-section, because that really sets up the destination. But the middle section just was a little bit rough. However, I thought that this book basically follows two plot lines. You have Kira, who is the one going on the travelogue, trying to find find the cure and try to find answers, and there's stuff revealed about her in the previous book that she's trying to figure out. And then that's the first story. The second story is the story with Marcus, her old boyfriend, who has stayed behind and is trying to fend off against a partial invasion, which is happening on the mainland in Long Island. And he's also trying to get information as well, specifically about Nandita Merchant, who has close relations with Kira. So I thought that Marcus's storyline in this book was superb. I didn't want to miss a single second of it. Every time he was on the page, I was so excited. His chapters were fantastic. Don't need to cut any of them. But it was Kira's stuff. You could have cut just in the middle. It could have cut a little bit. But both of their plot lines were exciting, and not at all where I thought they would go. I kind of called a little bit of the ending because he leans into some of the YA tropes that are pretty common, which I don't love these tropes, but I understand why he leaned into them. And I actually think that this cover is actually a misdirect, which I find quite funny. But I did enjoy the book overall. I think that Dan Wells just has an ability to really get deeper themes from your characters, particularly when you think about this book and really both books together. This is the first two books in a trilogy. The third book, Ruin, it's out of arm's reach, but it's on my TBR for next month. What you're seeing with this trilogy is you're exploring everything humanity that can do that's wrong, how we treat others, where our standards are with experimentation, with health, with war. There's a lot of questions about how far humanity is willing to go. And this book explores them, a little bit more deep than the first book does. The first book's just kind of hey, this is the crazy world we're in, and these are the characters. Whereas this book, you're getting to get how these characters react to these situations. And particularly in part 4, our characters, Kira and Marcus, are dealt with some really deep stuff that they have to deal with. I mean, this is a YA series, but these are some pretty adult themes, not in terms of like explicit language or explicit other content. It's just that they're heavy, difficult themes that even an adult would struggle with. So I thought that he really balanced that really well. So I was very impressed with the way Dan Wells wrote the themes in this book, which is why I think these books work so well for me, is that the plot's great, the character work is pretty good, the action's really good when there is action, the description, the tone of the book is all good. All of that's great. But the best part of the book is the themes, which is why I think that these are just top-tier YA books for me. So I enjoyed Fragments. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I still think that Partials is a better book. It's tighter. It's more fun. It has the surprises are much more. Whereas the surprises in here were interesting, but I wasn't shocked by them. I was shocked by the reveals in Partials. So I still think I'd give the edge to Partials. I give it like a 9 out of 10, but 8 out of 10 is still fantastic. You're cooking with gas if you've got an 8 out of 10 on your book. So I really enjoyed this book. If you've read Fragments, let me know down in the comments section. And what did you think of it? Are you enjoying this series, or did you not enjoy this series at all? Let me know all your thoughts down below. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.